So what up, guys? We're out here in the garage. I'm gonna go ahead and do the oil pan gasket while it's up. I probably should have done it before I dropped the car, or the motor in the car, but whatever. It's neither here nor there. So I'm gonna set you guys up on the tripod, and we're gonna do some time-lapse stuff. Yeah, let's get to it. Alright guys, so we got the car up in the air on jack stands. It is nice and secure. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna crawl under the car and I'm going to loosen the 10mm nuts and bolts that hold the oil pan on, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, so lighting's not the best down here, but there's series of 10mm nuts and bolts. Like that one's not even tight. Awesome. That hold the oil pan on, and I'm using a little impact and it should buzz right out. I've already had this oil pan off once. I looked at the crankcase because there was some issues when I first bought this B20, and I just wanted to make sure that the crank and everything looked good, and it did. So we're running it. We're just gonna send it. So yeah, we're gonna do some time-lapse stuff now. Not what I meant to do. So I'm gonna show you guys this oil pan, and it looks so bad. This oil pan looks so bad, but I will explain why it looks as bad as it does. So this is what the oil pan looks like. Yeah, that's not what oil's supposed to look like. If you notice, it's really red. That would be automatic transmission fluid, and all of this is, you guessed it, that's water. So story time. When you buy a JDM motor, they get shipped from overseas. Obviously, it's a JDM crate motor, pretty much. And God knows how they were packaged, how long they sat out on the ocean, salt water, blah 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 blah. Get the whole spiel here. So when I pulled the valve cover off of this B20, it looked like someone had basically dumped a chocolate milkshake inside of it. I called the place that I bought it from, JDM Midwest, and they told me to put the motor in the car with some 1540 and some automatic transmission fluid, and do a compression test and get back with them. So I did a compression test. The compression numbers weren't that great. I don't really remember what they were. I do remember cylinder 4 was at 110, and the rest of them were probably right, I think they were right around 150-ish. So cylinder 4 was definitely low. I called one of my good friends who is like an engine builder, and he gave me a little trick to do. He said ATF inside the cylinders, on top of the pistons, inside the cylinders obviously, and let it all drain down, and that detergent and that ATF will help expand the rings and help seat them back to the cylinder walls. And then once there's no ATF left in the cylinders, just go ahead and do another compression test on it and see what I get. So that's what I did. I dumped, I don't know, I probably used almost a whole quart of ATF, so about 1/4 of a quart in each cylinder, basically until they were full, and I let that sit for about 4 days. And not quite all of it drained out. Most of it drained out, not quite all of it. When I did the compression test, before I did the compression test, I actually just cranked the engine and had some rags sitting on top and let ATF blow out everywhere. It was kind of a mess, but it fixed the problem. I will 100% say every cylinder was between 150 and 160 when I redid the compression test. I don't know if that'll work for everybody, but it worked for me. So that's why this oil looks like this. It's because I used the 1540 and ATF to basically clean out the nastiness that was inside of this B20. And before I even run this motor, I'm going to do about four to five oil changes on it before I even drive it. So it's pretty much gonna be start it, let it run for 5 or 10 minutes, drain the oil. Refill it with fresh oil, start it, let it run for 5 or 10 minutes, drain the oil. Fresh oil, you know, repeat the cycle until the oil is clean. And that's where we're going with it. So I'm gonna rip this old gasket off and put the new gasket on and clean this oil pan up a little bit and get back to it. Rag, wipe this down, clean this out a little bit. Yes, night and day difference, guys. And just so you know, yes, the crankcase definitely looks about the same. So old gasket's gone. I'm gonna wipe all this down. Now make sure little spots like this where there's RTV, make sure you get all that RTV off. That's what we're gonna do now. So now, we're gonna talk about this gasket. This is a Fel-Pro gasket. I'll put the part number up right here, and I'll link this part down in the description as well. There's the part number. So, this is for all B series Hondas. And basically what it is instead of the rubber gasket like this, which are flimsy, they just blow out between basically the bolts. What this gasket actually is rubber, but in between the layers, between the rubber is a layer of like super thin steel. So it's a metal reinforced gasket is all it is. I've heard nothing but great things about this, so I'm gonna give it a shot. I wanna see what it does, I wanna see how well it performs. So yeah. All right, we're under the car. You can see I have a bead of RTV there, another bead over here, and I have two more beads down there, one over there. You guys can't really see it, but basically this is where the oil pump meets the block right there, and that's where the rear main meets the block back there. You can see them in person really clear. So what we're gonna do now is we're actually gonna just slap the gasket up on these little, I have these screwed into the block. So we're gonna hook the gasket and the pan on there, everything should be held in place, and we'll get some nuts and bolts in it. Now you can see that it's being suspended by the pan, or suspended by the little hangers, and we can start getting, I'm gonna start with the nuts on here. and finger tied everything at first. And what I'm gonna do with this is I'm actually gonna keep it's very important when doing stuff like this. This is also how I do spark plugs. Keep your hand on the head of the ratchet. Don't grab the handle. The handle's gonna give you way too much leverage. And you're just gonna go around and slowly, like say every other one, and just get a little tighter, a little tighter, and a little tighter. There is a specific torque specification for these. I don't know off the top of my head though, so we're just gonna go with this. It's never really failed me in the past, so bam. As you can see, like that is tight. You'll feel it when it gets tight. You don't gotta crank on these now. You just tilt it's tight. It's the biggest mistake people make with oil pan gaskets, valve cover gaskets, spark plugs, is they try to crank them in there way too tight. And there's no reason for it. Bam! And that's it, guys. We're done. Alright guys, I appreciate you tuning in for another episode. That's gonna be it for this one. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video that I drop. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you really liked it, share it. That would be awesome. And until next time, I'm out.